Welcome to Nonsense Season 4, Episode 40, our big story in our second show of the week. I'm Jeff Parker.
I'm a confused CJ Little.
Why are you confused?
2 shows, 1 week? I don't even know who we are anymore.
Whose program is this?
Return to our roots.
The toxic truth about food safety, up next.
And we're doing food safety?
Yes.
That's somehow tech?
Yes.
How did we get here?
You'll see. We were going to the Dodger game that you were talking about on the last show.
Yeah.
And my friend Josh suggested we do a story on foodborne illnesses because, cheery.
Oh, I see. Much like Jesus, Josh clearly gets us.
By the way, my AI helper of the day is Kimmy K3. So when you hear me say Chinese food doesn't get foodborne illnesses, you'll know why.
Oh, yeah. There's no bias there whatsoever. I'm using XAI, so when I start talking about how good SpaceX is as an undervalued buy, you'll know why.
Okay, unpacking the biological crime scene that is your next meal. Let's go.
All right, Jeffrey Dahmer, maybe you should go to the restaurant like the rest of us. Crime scene.
This July, a microscopic parasite named Cyclospora forced Taco Bell to yank iceberg lettuce from menus in 5 Midwestern states. Over 1,600 people have been sickened by shredded lettuce we think traces to a single Mexican supplier, Taylor Farms de Mexico. The CDC has a compelling circumstantial case.
I'm just shocked that 1,600 people across the Midwest actually ate lettuce on food from Taco Bell.
Can you order without lettuce, or does it come on lettuce with lettuce?
I assume. Tip or hint. If you go to Taco Bell anytime soon, order whatever you're going to order. Just ask for no Cyclospora.
I didn't know you could do that.
No Cyclospora, please. The hot sauce is fine, but none of the Cyclospora.
This is a case study in how a parasite the width of a red blood cell can exploit a supply chain that moves produce from Guanajuato to Toledo in days.
That poor parasite. It's like already been in Guanajuato, and now it's like, not going to go to Toledo? Like, that's just downhill.
Yeah, it's not a good travel agent.
No. Like, what?
Sure.
I want to go somewhere nice. What are we going to Ohio for?
But the real biological crime scene is inside our own kitchens. We still trust our noses like they're lab equipment, even though Cyclospora is odorless, tasteless, and invisible. We think freezing meat sterilizes it, when in reality, it only presses pause on bacterial growth. The microbes wake up the minute they thaw.
Oh, finally, Walt Disney's dream has come to real life.
We wash lettuce under the faucet as if running water can dislodge a parasite that clings to produce with the tenacity of a barnacle, when only heat, 158 degrees Fahrenheit, 70 degrees centigrade, or higher, will actually kill it. We scrub plates with dish sponges that harbor more bacteria than a toilet seat, then wipe down counters with the same soggy petri dish. From chlorine-immune parasites hijacking fresh produce to heat-stable toxins lingering in leftover pizza, we completely misunderstand what's making us sick and what's keeping us alive.
As a father of 2 little boys, I'm pretty sure whiskey's what's keeping me alive.
Well, it kills you.
Yeah, but slower than my spawn is killing me.
Okay, let's break this up into some pieces, starting with the Cyclospora that's exploded in the news recently.
All right.
Then we should talk about supply chain risk, food prep and storage risks, and finally, what you can do to help avoid foodborne illness.
You had to use the word exploded, didn't you?
Did.
Center square on your bingo card. I understand the general view to avoid foodborne illness.
Yes.
Personally, I'm leaning into that.
Yeah.
Because to me, cyclosporosis is basically like a free GLP-1. So take that, Eli Lilly.
David Letterman used to have a joke 1,000 years ago in the 70s, which was he saw in a magazine, lose weight without diet or exercise. And his line was, well, of course, that leaves disease.
Well, here we are.
Tell me everything you know about Cyclospora. It laughs at chlorine. That's my first thought.
I think even before you get to Cyclospora, we probably need a little bit of background.
Okay.
I think 2 things that most people either disregard or just don't understand. One is that we have this humans generally have a hard time connecting dots, especially across time.
Yeah.
You are normally going to blame the taco truck that you ate at 2 hours ago when you get some sort of GI or potentially foodborne based illness.
Sure, you think it's something you just ate.
Yes, which usually it is not. Usually you have to go back at least 24 hours up to 2 weeks for something to incubate. So typically your last meal is not the thing that
made you sick.
That did it. You're not reacting to your lunch.
Right.
You're reacting to last week's decision. So I think that's important to have as context for this.
Although there are plenty of things you can eat that your body immediately is saying, no, get this out now. And so it could be something recent too.
I have also eaten a hot dog at the Coliseum out front with the bacon wrap on it.
Okay.
My problem is my body says both. It says, get this in here now. And then it says, get this out now. It's an equal opportunity.
But your body does have this thing where it has a memory then to those smells.
It is incredible.
And tastes. Yeah. And it does say, I don't want this in my body when it tastes it next time.
Oh yeah, never again. Yeah, I feel like everyone has had their experience in their early 20s with some particular alcohol that they got extremely ill on. They're like, I just don't drink that anymore.
And they'll never have it again. Sure, their body just says, do not put this in me.
I think it's also worth pointing out that different pathogens you respond to differently. So some pathogens like Giardia or Shigella require as few as 10 microscopic organisms to ruin your month, whereas Salmonella typically requires tens of thousands. So some bugs are exponentially more efficient invaders than others.
Sure.
So it's not all the same. So just like, well, I've never gotten Salmonella. Doesn't mean you haven't ingested it. Just means you haven't been infected by it. And these other bugs can be much more infectious.
Now come back to Cyclospora and tell me some more things about it.
Yeah, okay.
It's something we figured out in 1979.
It was a good year.
Before that, we had no idea it was even a thing.
It's a parasite, not a bacterium. So it's not like Salmonella or Listeria. It's this single-cell protozoan parasite that forms this tough microscopic shell, sort of why you made that barnacle reference, that's designed to survive environmental chaos. And that's part of the problem, is that these things are very difficult to get rid of. They have this chemical immunity.
You can't put chlorine on it. It doesn't die.
Oh, you can put chlorine on it.
It lives in the swimming pool.
It just does laps. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, it does nothing.
It just persists.
Humans are its only known home.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it does not connect with other animals.
It has this very long incubation period, which we saw with similar diseases, right? Like even with COVID several years ago. The incubation period for Cyclospora is anywhere from 2 to 14 days.
Yeah.
So contact tracing gets really tough.
Which comes from fecal matter put in, it has to be outside of the body.
Outside the body.
In water for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Then it gets into the plants where it can come and get you.
Yes. So there's really no world where your cause of this is from your restaurant worker, right? It has to be upstream for that because you had to have gotten it initially from a source where this could incubate outside for, as Jeff said, 2 weeks.
Which is why it has no bioterrorism potential, because it has this giant lag of incubation.
Yes and no. I mean, I feel like
you cannot infect somebody directly with fresh stool. It's got to have the 2 weeks in the soil and fresh water.
Look, you can still try.
Okay.
No, but like, I feel like if you were to become a bioterrorist, this is how you would do it. Like you, Jeff Parker, would do this with like a 2-week incubation period. You'd be like, step one.
Sure. I know. I got nothing but time. I got patience.
Incubate the Cyclospora for, like, you would be the worst Marvel movie of all time. If you were just like the Cyclospora cyst.
Be like a lot of labs and test tubes and waiting.
It's just a lot of waiting. You're like, but in 2 weeks.
Boy, am I going to get you then.
You're going to have the poops. Well, like, what's your secret power? You're like, I shoot lasers out of my eyes. You're like, oh, well, we each have our strengths.
Running warm water over lettuce and berries will not dislodge Cyclospora. No. They cling to it with tenacity and only heat will.
No, it will dislodge dirt. You should still do that.
It does wash off dirt. That's true.
The problem is you have to get this to basically 160 degrees Fahrenheit. We know that most all things die around 165 degrees Fahrenheit instantly. So in this particular case, you got to get north of 70 degrees centigrade, 158 degrees Fahrenheit to kill it.
I just don't want my lettuce heated up like that. Oh, it sounds awful.
Boiled lettuce.
Yeah.
Also, something that I did not know until we were reading about this. If you have a standard stool panel, they do not test for Cyclospora.
Right. You have to ask for the Cyclospora panel.
Yeah, you have to ask for a specialized parasitic PCR panel in order to know if that's what you have. Now I'm assuming folks that have these symptoms are being screened for this, but they probably weren't not too long ago because this wasn't in the mainstream.
And it's kind of a gaslighter because even without re-exposure, you can get this again after you think you are better.
Oh, yeah.
2 weeks later, you can suddenly get it again.
For months. And this is not the first time this has happened, right? We've had this happen before. I think we had raspberries from Guatemala in the 90s, the late 90s.
Yeah.
We had cilantro from Mexico in the 2010s.
I had cilantro from Mexico last night.
And now it's salad mixes, right? Pre-bagged salad mixes, shredded lettuce, heads of lettuce, any of that.
You can lose 20 pounds from this stuff.
Ooh, tell me more.
It's rarely life-threatening to healthy adults, but if you don't take care of it with antibiotics right away, you can lose 20 pounds.
All right. I guess what Jeff's saying is, like, don't be in a rush to go see your doctor. Give it a little time. Feel it out. Hey, maybe you're down 20 pounds. Hey, it happens.
If you don't mind the feeling of solid rocket fuel leaving your butt.
GL-Spora 1. Yeah, sure. Why not?
It hides in mussels and clams.
It hides in mussels and clams?
Animals that filter feed.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Clams and mussels are kind of an atypical route of exposure.
Yeah.
Scientists can look because they can see in the clams and the mussels. They have a little way of monitoring the coastal and freshwater ecosystems by looking at clams and mussels.
Oh, that's fascinating. I had no idea. They're like a little point in time, right? That shows you what's in the water at that time. Oh, that's fascinating. That's very cool. All right, but that's what's been in the news recently, right? You had foodborne illness has obviously not been a new thing. This has been around for quite some time. And I think what Cyclospora has done is highlight some of the supply chain risks.
Okay.
And those are real.
And the world has changed too in the last 20 years. I mean, now we have one contaminated field that can contaminate an entire continent.
This is the downside of feeding 8 billion people. You need these economies of scale, which bring lower costs and higher availability, especially especially with transit and trucking that we've got and ability to get things all around the planet. That's awesome. But now, if a good chunk of your lettuce is coming from a handful of spots and one of those spots has an issue, now everybody's got bad lettuce, which doesn't sound great. If you want this hyper efficient central, processing, now just one of these sort of mistakes or oversights can become this multi-state, multi-country issue, like a real global concern.
By the way, it doesn't even necessarily have to be a single farm.
Yeah.
It can come from a single water source that is serving multiple farms.
Yeah. And you might have similar products grown at those multiple farms just because that's what the weather permits or optimizes for.
And then biofilms kind of make a sticky mess on processing equipment that normal cleaning doesn't get off.
Yeah. You hope they do the best they can to clean them off. But now if the thing they're trying to clean off doesn't come off, that sounds even worse.
Squirting with water isn't going to help. And, and putting chlorine on it isn't going to help.
Nope.
Pretty much heats your option.
Yeah.
Your triple washed bag salad is a statistical illusion.
Because it's in a bag?
Because rinsing it off doesn't make much difference.
Yeah.
It does take the dirt off.
It takes the dirt off. Yeah.
Right.
But I think that's the problem, right? It says triple washed, period, full stop. It doesn't say triple washed and in parentheses, just kidding about the parasites.
Right.
I'd still rather have it triple washed than zero washed. Like the zero washed bag doesn't sell very well.
Produce now outpaces meat as the leading source of outbreaks.
Yes. I love to point this out to folks.
Yeah.
They eat a lot of meat. Don't you worry about getting sick? And I'm like, nice salad.
Vegans and vegetarians get no pass on this one. You get a pass on things like heart attacks. You get a pass on things like cancer. You do not get a foodborne illness pass.
Yep. You're right. They also don't get a pass on hangnails.
The organic label is not a magical force field, which I wish it were.
Sure, but I like how you just lumped like cancer and like heart attacks in with foodborne illness.
Their rates of cancer and heart attacks are so much lower.
Veganism has superior health benefits, just not this one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, giant, yes.
Okay.
Restaurant kitchens are statistically safer than yours.
Oh, yeah. When's the last time you had a health inspector come over to your house?
Exactly.
And by the way, if that's happened, please email us the details. I'd like to read more about this. Because what I like to do is I want a sponge that can tell me about the seasons.
You take the sponge and wipe it around so that the
you want it to
contaminants are everywhere.
Yeah, you want it to be equal.
Oh, no, it's fantastic.
So that it's everywhere. But like, I don't want to have like a spring sponge and a summer sponge. I really want a 2026 sponge. I want a sponge. I want to get every. Ooh. Yeah, those things are like $1.30.
Every possible.
So I got to get 11 cents a month out of that thing.
How often do you actually change your sponges?
Oh, you're supposed to change them? The house came with a sponge. The end. I have found, this is true.
Yes.
As we've gone through, so I don't know if people listening at home know this. I'm old. Yeah. And what I have found is that like sponge choices matter. I used to just buy a sponge and now I'm like, there are specific brand sponges that I buy.
Yeah, sure.
And I've actually shied away from the sponges that never wear out because
you don't want that. You want to turn over your sponge a lot.
You want a sponge that fails kind of quickly.
Yes.
And then you're like, oh, the sponge is getting gross. I'm going to go ahead and throw it away.
Even when it doesn't fail. Oh, no. Throw it away like every week.
Don't throw them away. I have a special sponge rack that they go to just because this is true. Yeah. I like to have old crappy sponges around for crappy jobs where I can just throw them away. So like none of this goes to food supply. This is like if I'm, cleaning.
Like what's a job you use an old sponge for?
I'm cleaning the bottom grease trap on my barbecue, right? Food's never touching that.
Yeah, sure.
And any sponge you use on that, you're going to destroy. So why destroy a new sponge? Just for an old sponge. And that's how I maintain an extra $1.40 savings every month.
Dude, you're going to be rich.
Those add up.
Asymptomatic food workers are silent distributors. You have an awful lot of people who gain immunity to these things, especially if they work in food processing.
Sure.
And so you don't have early tells of this pathogen outbreak.
Well, they're not for Cyclospora, but they are for plenty of other pathogens, for sure.
Have you got anything else on the global supply chain?
When you travel abroad, especially to many countries that don't have the same filtered or the same water processing that we have here, people always say, don't drink the water, you drink bottled water. Yes, that is true. There is something else, though, that most people overlook, which is when you buy that bottle of water and you're in Guatemala and it's super hot, do not pour it onto a cup of ice. The ice was not made from bottled water in most cases. So now you have just taken the cryogenically stored things, pathogens that are not going to be your friends when they get to your gut, and you're going to consume them. And I picked Guatemala because this happened to me in Guatemala several decades ago, and I'm still grumpy about it. I avoided the water. I avoided everything. I drank wine. I drank booze.
But you had ice.
The last day there, I was like at a nice dinner, and all I wanted was a Pepsi. I just wanted a Pepsi. And I got a Pepsi, and I put it on ice, and it was delicious. And the next morning, when I woke up in my hotel room, I saw God. And that was basically how it worked. for the entire flight home. I had them put me right next to the lavatory because I was in there most of the time.
Wow. I've been to Mexico numerous times in the last decade.
Yeah.
And I have never had to be careful even about drinking the water. The resorts have their own water purification systems.
Yes.
The
resorts
water is
do.
just fine.
And that's great. It's but you have to understand, I want to eat with the locals in where the locals eat. I go out to the depths of the places.
Yeah.
Because that's the fun part to me. I don't want to go eat at a resort. So yeah, that stuff you gotta be a little bit
Okay, enough about supply chain. Let's talk about food storage and preparation risks. Ready, go.
Just leave everything out in the sun. You'll be fine.
Fantastic.
The UV kills everything. That's kind of what I do.
By the way, this is you're exaggerating that, but yes, the refrigerator door is a massive death trap because everything that's in the door.
Oh yeah.
The minute you open the fridge is getting warmer and cooler.
Every
People
time.
keep eggs in the refrigerator door, and that's probably the worst place you can put them.
Yeah, everything in the door stays warmer. That is for sure.
Milk.
Yeah.
Don't put milk in your refrigerator door.
Well, unless you want to make yogurt.
Well, exactly. There are things that we actually do cause to spoil, kimchi, yogurt, those kind of things, where it's actually done in a way that you don't get pathogens.
But I think what most people don't appreciate is there's this window of temperature that is quite wide that you never want your food to be in for a long period of time. And that window is roughly 40 degrees Fahrenheit to about 140 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's a big window.
It is a very big window. And what happens in that window is all sorts of stuff can grow. Bacteria doubles roughly every 20 minutes in that temperature zone.
Wow.
And your fridge, by the way, is probably at somewhere between 33 and 34 degrees, most refrigerators.
100%.
And it doesn't kill anything. It just slows it down. It keeps it from breeding. That's all you're doing.
By the way, your freezer doesn't necessarily kill it either.
No, not necessarily.
It just slows it down.
It doesn't kill anything. It just slows it all down.
Yeah.
The problem with this, and I see people do this, like I love to cook for people. I love to cook for lots of people.
Yeah.
As you scale up your cooking, it gets tough to stay food safe.
Of course.
And I see people all the time cooking for as few as 15 or 20 people. And I'm like, what you're doing there is not food safe. Like, this is not okay. The examples I see the most is you've got to keep that thing that you've made either below 40 degrees or above 150 degrees. Period. Full stop.
Well, that's why they say cooked rice is a silent assassin.
Absolutely. But like even like you'll see people make a chili or a stew and they'll be like, oh, okay, it's done. And they'll just put it out on a table for people to munch on for the next 8 hours.
Yeah. No.
You have to keep that at temperature. Like you can't just leave that there. It's a breeding ground. Or people make like this is one of my ones, like one of my pet peeves, drives me crazy. People make like a big thing of chili or soup, like a big vat, a 10-quart vat.
And then put it in the fridge thinking
and then
it's
just
going
throw
to cool
it
down
right into the
fast
fridge.
enough. Yeah, sure.
Which has two giant problems. One, as Jeff just said, it does not cool down fast enough, right?
No.
You're cooling down from the outside to the inside. Two, it warms up everything else in the fridge. That is not the right answer. That is not the way you want to do it. You want to split it into smaller containers.
Sure.
You want more surface area with less distance to go so you can cool it down faster.
Like 2 inches deep. You really don't want to have a big container. You want something where the temperature can drop fast. Yeah, sure.
So anyway,
tell me about washing raw chicken. The washing raw chicken is an aerosol bomb.
Oh, this is the debatable one. Full disclosure, I still have a hard time not doing this. I do this with very low water.
Sure.
I try very hard to not let this become problematic. I am pretty anal about it in that I segregate my kitchen when I do this. I really try hard not to let anything that has touched raw meats of any kind touch anything else. I have separate cutting boards, yada, yada, yada. However, when you wash, especially chicken, the problem is there's little tiny like
aerosol. You've got little droplets of
water.
Yes, exactly. Bacteria and pathogens of every sort are spraying 3 feet in every direction.
So especially when you hit it with the stream or the, whatever, the high pressure, and all that stuff just vaporizes, it's taking the salmonella and the other pathogens with it.
Yeah.
So like you've just put off a chicken bomb in your kitchen, which is probably not where you want to do it. So the recommendation is to not wash your chicken.
Right.
I still find this a little hard to do.
So it's lightly crusted with pathogens as you cook
you kill them.
Yes.
I mean, yes, you kill them. So I'm not suggesting this as advice. I'm just telling you what I do.
Like a dry rub. Dry rub.
Oh, delicious. Oh, there's nothing like a little paprika and E. coli together. Oh, it's a chef's kiss. I use a very low stream of cold water, the coldest I can get in Southern California. And I do rinse them off because I don't want the chicken juice that came out of the package dripping on the things. And then I still do that. Yeah. Probably not the best thing to do, but it is a balance between the past and what I should be doing.
And then chlorine doesn't kill it and nothing else kills it.
Nope.
And your kitchen is alive.
The other one that most people don't accept is the smell test.
Yeah, because your nose is useless. These things are odorless and
does not work.
Totally tasteless.
Yes. People that open containers and smell it. First of all, what are you doing? That's my first question.
You're smelling for spoilage, not bacteria.
Yes, that's the problem. Is you can't. The true villains here, the salmonella, the E. coli, the listeria, they're odorless and colorless and tasteless. So none of your senses are going to pick up.
You can still have a biological weapon in your hands that you're smelling. Sure, of course.
Fine.
But you want to know if the food's gone bad. Your smell will tell you if the food's gone bad.
Yeah,
it's necessary but not sufficient.
No, because you can have food that's bad that doesn't smell bad.
Yeah, that's true.
So the smell isn't necessary.
All right,
I'd argue it's sufficient if you have the baseline for it. Like kimchi does not smell good, but it's not sufficient to throw it away.
Right,
because it's kimchi. Like it just always smells that way. Yeah. So I guess you could say if the smell has changed, it might be sufficient. But again, it's not necessary.
You brought up earlier cutting boards.
Oh yeah, cutting boards.
Tell me what your cutting board theory is, because mine used to be the plastic cutting boards were the way to go, man. You could put them in the dishwasher. It's great. And in fact, the knife makes tiny little slits in the cutting board where all kinds of things can live.
I think this is one of those things where there's shades of gray. Mm-hmm. If you are going to process raw meats and you're not going to take a good approach to hygiene, you might be better off with a plastic cutting board. And here's why. Because if what you're going to do is cut that thing, rinse it off, and throw it in your dishwasher, that's probably the best lazy approach. Yeah. The approach that I take is I use wood cutting boards and then wash them and then let them dry, because you have to go do a thing.
Do you know why wood cutting boards are supposed to be better?
Yeah, it kills the pathogens that are in it.
Right. They have some natural...
Well, the wood was designed to survive, right? The wood was designed to survive.
The hardwood cutting boards like maple process natural antimicrobial compounds that actually kill the bacteria trapped in the wood grain.
So I have several maple cutting boards. I have a big maple cutting block, and then I have some bamboo I normally use for prepared food.
What do you use the bamboo for?
I have one that I use for raw vegetables, basically anything that's not meat. I have several that I use for raw meat, and then I have a maple and several bamboos that I use for prepared food. So stuff that comes off the grill, basically. That's the path that I take. But yes, I think your best path is to use wood and then clean it well and sanitize it. That is your best path. The plastic traps those things. But if you're not going to do that, if you're going to
or buy a dishwasher that goes up to 180 degrees.
Yeah, if you're going to phone it in, then I think you're better off probably using a plastic cutting board and throwing that in the dishwasher, and as Jeff said, nuke it.
But throw it in the dishwasher a lot.
Yeah, right after you use it, for sure. Yeah, there's no doubt on that. There are very few things in life that make me like truly uncomfortable, and raw meats just being like haphazardly thrown around the kitchen makes me uncomfortable, as does soap anywhere near my cooked food. Anywhere near it, I am immediately become like an anxious mess, because one drop of soap in the food that I spent 3 hours making will ruin it. So I am just
tastes a little like soap now.
Just keep it away from my food. Like I don't care that you have it in the sink at the same time. Like just no.
Your microwave oven has cold spots, has cool spots that don't heat up as much as other ones, and they can harbor bacteria as well.
Let's talk about reheating. So a lot of people are like, well, if you just nuke it and get it super hot, that kills everything. So it's fine.
You have to get it super hot.
Yes, but then you still have these heat-stable enterotoxins. So this is the stuff that's excreted by what was living there, and those are effectively toxic chemicals that are still in your food. Like those don't just go away.
Right. Just because the host died, just because the bacteria died or the pathogen died,
that's still there.
Doesn't mean the chemical is gone. The toxic chemical is still there.
So just don't keep your food that long and keep it cold. It's not hard. But okay, so that's a lot of doom and gloom.
Yeah.
As someone who loves to cook, I think there are a handful of things you can do that really help minimize your risk to foodborne illness. For me, the biggest one, and the one that not only helps me make safer food, helps me make better food, is cooking to temperature. Yeah. And using a meat thermometer should be non-negotiable. Like if you would like a free meat thermometer, invite me over to your home to cook. I will be so frustrated, I will order you one on Amazon and it will be there in 2 days. Okay. Like I'm going to start bringing them with me, because so many friends I've ordered them for, because they struggle. They're like, oh, I poked the chicken and I can tell. And I'm like, I know you think you can tell.
No, you can't.
But you really can't, because I also thought I could tell, right? And you can tell roughly. Like you can probably tell to within 10 degrees.
Roughly is not going to do it.
But roughly is not enough, especially if you're trying to cook to temperature to get the consistency that you want. And you can buy a cheap one for $15. There's a handful that I like on Amazon. They're a little more money, $30, $40, but they have a quicker resolution time, so that I'm just not cooking my hand over a grill. That is one of the most important things that I think to make your food better and food safe, is just a meat thermometer.
Here's a cool thing that you don't have to do anything and you get the benefits of it. Your stomach is a colossal battery acid bath.
It's amazing.
Which just destroys all this stuff, or most of it.
I know.
Unless there's some really strong thing. But
it's like the acid dip in Roger Rabbit. Like everything you put in it just destroys.
Yeah, most of this stuff is killed within minutes when it goes into your stomach. So it does matter the amount of exposure to pathogens. Yeah. If you are taking millions and millions, your stomach may not catch up.
Yeah.
The walls of your stomach actually secrete antibiotics.
That's amazing.
In addition to the acid.
It's incredible. Yeah. The evolution of the stomach is just fascinating to me.
Your gut houses roughly 70% of your immune system.
That's incredible.
It contains more immune cells than any other organ.
So keep your stomach health happy, I think, is what the takeaway here is.
Also, the biome is going to get destroyed when you take antibiotics. So you want to take antibiotics only when you absolutely need them.
Yeah.
Antibiotics are not a hobby.
The other other part that's nuts is in your digestive system. It is the only place in your body where you have DNA that is not yours. Well, unless you had a good night at the club. It's the only place in your body where you have DNA that is not yours.
Sure.
Which is crazy. And most of that is inherited initially from where? You get it from your mother because that's the first things that you eat. So when you're born, you have all of your own DNA, but then you quickly through feeding, especially through breastfeeding, you establish that system, that biome you establish from your mother, which is really fascinating to me that's how you get that. Now, and we alluded to some of the other big things that I think you can do to help prevent foodborne illness. Not washing your chicken, which is one that I still struggle with. I still do it, washing it at least lightly so you don't atomize as much water, but I think not washing is probably your best bet to minimize that.
Yeah.
Also, we talked about earlier how like washing your leafy greens gets the dirt out, but doesn't do much for the pathogen.
Yeah.
Wash anything that's got like a skin or a rind on it, wash it with soap. Or I use this stuff called Fit that I like that'll rip the wax off as well. Yeah. Go ahead and wash your melon before you cut it, because anything that's on the outside, when you cut it, goes to the inside.
Right.
So you don't want that. That's bad.
And soap does kill some things.
Yes.
Don't be afraid of using soap. Just because we're saying some pathogens are biologically unaffected by soap, don't be afraid to use soap for other things that soap will kill.
Yes, it turns out it works pretty well. Yeah. A lot of people died in the 1800s because of no soap.
I'm going to go back to your body here for 1 second. Diarrhea is biological power washing.
Oh, all right. Well, that's one way to think of it.
Your body does amazing things. Vomiting is a calculated evacuation. It's not a malfunction. Your body's made to do these things.
Yes.
Your body knows how to do it, when to do it. Your body knows how to raise its temperature for a fever.
Yeah.
It raises it slightly, 98.6, takes it up to 102, let's say. It knows it can kill off those pathogens just with that slight adjustment in temperature. Yeah.
Another thing you can do that is simple. Again, this stuff is so simple.
Yeah.
If you have frozen meats in your freezer, don't thaw them on your counter.
Yeah.
It's like the worst thing you can do. It's probably, it actually would be, I guess, technically maybe worse than putting it in the sun, but it doesn't matter. It's still bad. Yeah. If you want to thaw meat, put it in your refrigerator and wait a day. Because then
keep the mayonnaise in the sun so that those germs can't live in the mayonnaise. That's what you want to do. Yeah.
Yes, the mayonnaise germs really despise the sun. They're nocturnal. So that is exactly what I would do. So many people just will take out like a frozen pack of chicken breast and leave it on the counter. That's terrible because air is a terrible conductor of heat. Yeah. So it takes a long time to warm up.
Right, of course.
And thaw. And then while the inside is still frozen, the outside is a balmy room temperature, 68 degrees, and breeding bacteria. Do it in the fridge. If you don't have time, you can do it in a water bath. Water bath with a motor on it that circulates the water so that you pull all the heat off it as fast as possible.
Sous vide.
Sous vide, yeah. Basically sous vide. Yeah, and you can drop food. I will pre-pack, like if I have extra steaks or something, I'll pre-pack them and I can drop them straight into the sous vide and cook them. It's great.
What else you got?
There's another one that, again, is relatively straightforward that I think people just have some confusion on. For the most part, nothing will say expires on it anymore. We've gotten away from the verbiage of expires because I don't really know what that means.
In California, by law, we've gotten
Yeah, you'll see commonly two things on food packages. You'll see best by or use by. And those are different. The best by statement means that it's sort of optimal taste profile.
Peak taste
is going to get worse after that time. Its peak quality is going to be by that date. After, doesn't mean it's bad, doesn't mean it's going to kill you, doesn't mean it's not good for you. It just means that it might not taste as optimal as it could. So that's a quote best by. Right. A use by date that you'll see, like especially on like deli meats, right? That use by date is something that you should follow because it's based on the fact that you have now sliced meat. Lunch meat is a wonderful vector for getting listeria, for example. Yeah. So you want to treat that more like rigid dates. When it says use by August 4th, you want to go ahead and throw that thing out on August 5th. It's a good time to let it go. That's another easy one.
Do you have any more?
If something has gone, if you have some mold growing on something, for the most part, you should throw it away. That's generally going to be...
My blue cheese?
Now, it depends. So blue cheese is an interesting one, right? Blue cheese, obviously, the mold is part of the cheese, but there are like hundreds of thousands of different mold spores out there, right? I mean, Egon collects them. It was his thing.
Spores, molds, and funguses.
Spores, molds, and funguses. Like bread, if bread has gotten moldy, throw the whole thing away. Don't pull out the piece that has the mold on it. Likely you have mold spores in the whole package of bread. The roots are inside the bread. You just let it go. Soft cheeses, same thing. Hard cheeses, like a Parmesan, for example, the roots of the mold can't penetrate into the dense fat and protein matrix. Okay. So you can just hack that piece off.
Oh, okay.
For pretty much anything else, you want to throw it away. And I think my general suggestion on this is if you are in doubt, if you don't know if this thing it's been out for maybe 4 hours, is that too long? Or this has been in the fridge since when? Just throw it away, right? I know some folks don't have that luxury of access to as much food. Yeah. And they might push those limits, but you want to be really careful with that. that because it's going to get potentially worse for you. GI tract infection, ER hospital visit, like those are all going to be worse outcomes. So you really want to try to be as cognizant of as you can of not eating food that's been in the fridge too long.
I love throwing away food that looks old. I'm all for it. I mean, of course, I'm in a place where I can get new food, so it's not quite the same thing. But I do love throwing out. In fact, if I saw mold on a piece of food, I'd throw away, of course, the entire thing. I'd clean out the fridge and throw out everything in the fridge.
You just throw out the whole refrigerator.
Move. Yeah, I would move.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
This Sub-Zero is broken. Why? There was mold on some cheese inside.
We needed another zip code.
Yeah,
let's just be safe.
I was gonna say, I think those are the big ones. If you do that, you're going to be in better shape.
All right, we have to get out of here, but quickly before we do, have you seen or read anything good this last week?
Well, I've already recommended Anthony Bourdain's Kitchen Confidential in the past, and if you got through that and you want to dive deeper into your food supply, and I say that at the widest of apertures, then you might want to consider 2023's documentary Poisoned: The Dirty Truth About Your Food, which is on Netflix.
Okay.
It's a documentary that breaks down how microscopic villains like the E. coli and the salmonella that we've been talking about routinely sneak through massive regulatory loopholes and tracing outbreaks from like manure-tainted field irrigation, kind of what we're dealing with now with this lettuce recall out of Mexico, and how it gets cut straight into your innocent-looking pre-washed bags of salad or triple-washed spinach. Like there is a path, and it's not very hard to connect the dots to see how that happens.
You're saying this is a manure-tainted field.
Well, that could be one case.
It's got to be from a human,
If you live in the country, they call it manure.
Okay. Usually human fecal matter is not referred to as manure.
Well, then I'm going to Home Depot and I want some money back. Anyway, it's equal parts high-stakes supply chain thriller and squirm-inducing comedy of errors. It's guaranteed to make you appreciate the chaos of global agriculture while scrubbing your bag greens like you're preparing for open-heart surgery.
Sure.
Poisoned: The Dirty Truth About Your Food, streaming on Netflix now. How about you?
In 2011, Steven Soderbergh put out a movie called Contagion. Wow. It's a terrifyingly clinical thriller about the rapid collapse of society under the weight of a lethal airborne virus. It starts with a single cough. Within days, the microscopic MEV1 pathogen paralyzes the globe, overwhelming medical infrastructure and sparking violent panic over dwindling supplies.
This is a movie, like a fiction movie?
Oh, yeah. It's really good. Everyday surfaces instantly transform into lethal weapons.
I feel like I lived this.
Yeah.
Like not too long ago. Didn't this actually happen?
Something similar. Anchored by Matt Damon as a grieving, naturally immune father protecting his daughter. And Kate Winslet as a frontline epidemic intelligence officer tracing viral footsteps. The film chronicles the desperate, frantic race for a vaccine. A bulldozer clears a forest. A displaced bat drops a piece of food into a pig pen. A pig eats it and is slaughtered. A chef handling the raw pig fails to wash his hands before shaking hands with Gwyneth Paltrow. I mean, come on.
That was like the worst game of 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon I've ever played. Like you get from the bulldozer to Paltrow somehow? Like that's...
If you like pandemic movies, and who doesn't?
That's amazing.
This is for you. Contagion on HBO Max now.
I haven't seen this. This does sound like something that I would like. I think it's very interesting to have first eyes on this post-COVID. Like I do wonder what I will think. The
whole movie is like you'll be on edge the whole time. It's terrific.
It was 2011. It was 9 years pre-COVID, 10 years pre-COVID when it was made.
Yeah.
But that's just fascinating to me to see like
for sure
how they portrayed it could happen. And then, oh, by the way, we actually did this.
Yeah.
Not that there wasn't a pretext for it before. Right? The Spanish flu 100 years before.
Right.
I find this fast. Okay, I'm going to have to watch this. Thanks. There goes my weekend, Jeff. Thanks a lot.
That is the episode.
Thank you for joining us for all of this nonsense. A truly terrible podcast from The Awful Company. Visit us on the web at nonsense.productions. I'm CJ Little.
I'm Jeff Parker.
If you like this program, please follow, download, subscribe, and like at Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, AntennaPod, iHeartRadio, Spotify, my favorite Overcast, wherever you may get your podcast from.
Nonsense uses LibreOffice, a powerful free open source office suite that offers professional word processing, dynamic spreadsheets, stunning presentations, and more. It's fully compatible with Microsoft Office formats, so collaboration is seamless. Check out LibreOffice.
Is non-professional word processing like if you use Comic Sans?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be here every Tuesday and Thursday mornings for more nonsense. Please join us. We didn't even bring up the 5-second rule. Well, I'm just saying the 5-second rule has a place.
Yes, that seems safe. Drop food 5 seconds and it's an arbitrary amount of time. Sure. You'll be fine.
5 seconds. What could get out in 5 seconds? Salmonella, not very fast. Relatively slow.
Salmonella uses a walker. It's very slow.